So then let us go back to you ladies. And one of the questions that I have for you is, how will be attending the conference help you going forward in school, in life? And if not, why and why not?
For me, it was a big eye-opener. I started college as undecided, liberal arts, as many call it, and not really knowing where I wanted to go. Going through school, I felt like, as a woman, my male counterparts really didn't take us seriously. Oh, you're going to education, you want to go to college, it's great. But at the same time, they didn't take you seriously compared to the male students. So going to Nick Whistle, I saw that so many were going to graduate school, many were getting their PhDs, and they were going through that same feeling with their classes or instructors who weren't taking them seriously, and hearing their stories on how they could do that. Also with hearing the women who work for the Department of State, for the U.S. government, how they travel the world and go to all these other countries, and they're like management for human resources, and this, I forgot her name, but she was in it for 20 years, and she's still going. And it's such an empowering thing, hearing all these success stories, and then also giving us hints on how to, decide what we want to do with our life, how we want to move forward. And now I'm a business major, and I'm really excited for my career track. And it's a great thing to just get involved with.
Okay, so this was my favorite question, and I'm so excited to answer this because I've been practicing all day. Okay. So, how will Nick Whistle impact my education and in life? So, before was mentioned the college fair that was offered at Nick Whistle. And honestly, I'm studying liberal arts right now because I need to focus on humanities and social sciences. I will be transferring into a bachelor's program in social sciences focused on international relations. So I know exactly what I want to do, but the problem is I've gotten to this mentality of limiting myself. So I'm like, well, what's the easiest seamless transfer? What's the most affordable? What's this? What's that? And then, like Andrea said, the ballroom doors open and you're like all these schools. And first off, they were very personable. The colleges were very eager. They weren't there just to be there. They genuinely talked to every single student that came up to them. They wanted to know their major, their interests. So one way that Nick Whistle has changed my educational career is that I'm not limiting myself anymore. I'm not, what's going to be the easiest and fastest way to get this done. Now I'm going back to my original dream schools and being like, wow, I talked to this admissions employee. I know where I am, what I need to do, and now I want to pursue, going to NYU, going to Georgetown, going to these schools that are going to challenge me as opposed to doing what's safe and comfortable and familiar. So that would be definitely my educational path. For my life path, which is awesome, Danny and I went to the same workshop, our very first workshop with Nick Whistle, and the title is Global Leadership Opportunities of the U.S. Department of State. So with international relations being my passion, I know for a fact I want to work in an international scale somehow. So we went to this workshop, and it was literally seeing women that have worked these careers, not just, for the past 5 years or so. They've been in these positions for 20 years. They've been to 86 countries. They've, done all this work, and it was extremely detailed information. It wasn't just, get out there, kiddo, you can do it too, we hope you make it. It was like, no, write this down. This is what you need to do. This is the exam you need to take. This is what you need to be versed in. This is what you need to study. And it was so specific that it was like, it was totally empowering. It was like, well, I'm just going to leave here right now and go apply for this position because I know what to do now. So definitely, I think that those are two main ways for me personally that has changed my life. But I know for a fact that in every single one of these workshops, every workshop was very specific. All of the conference attendees all had that in common. They all said the same thing. It wasn't a lot of fluff. It wasn't, we had gotten through the icebreakers. Like, that's done. Everything you went to was very specific. So
when I went to Nicholas, I just graduated, so I was
well, I think like most of the students who come in, it's still younger classmen. So I was like, maybe I'm like a bit late, but no. It was and you know, like being graduate, it's like very like transition time. Like I'm very organized person, so I want to know what exactly 3 months later I'm doing. That's my type of person. And being graduate, you really don't know what you're doing next. You still figuring it out. And I don't like the feeling that I don't know. But Nicholas always tells me that you just need to chill a bit and you know what you're doing. It's okay not to know what you're doing at this moment, but you are empowered still to like seek for what's still next. And my parents were very supportive, and they were like, oh, if there is a job that is like rip you off, like not that money that you put effort in, you shouldn't be doing it. Like no, don't feel bad that, oh, I might not be that able. Like you put your chin up and you should be fine. And I think that also my roommates and like other people who are in Nicholas and recent graduate like us, I'm sure they will feel that empowerment, the same thing too. And I went to the graduate school fair, and because before I even go to grad school fair, I researched about each school, because there's 90, I think it was like 90 schools. Yeah. So I want to make conversation. So I made school list that I want to talk to specifically, like only 10 schools that I'm gonna like engage in, like just get it on. So it was great. And yeah, I talk with a lot of professionals, like how is the individual's life. And in the there's a work fair, a work ceremony night that and I was really feel very glad about to hear Judy Smith, who got one of the award and received the award, because she was a lawyer, but normally she doesn't do a typical lawyer what they do. She do a lot of public relations work and working with government and things like that. So because I want to go back to grad school, and I'm figuring out which grad school that will potentially match me for long term. So she gave me an insight that not necessarily degree can actually decide what you're doing next. It's very broad to actually match with how you want to apply. So yes.
So what's your career goal?
So I want to be a legal researcher because I'm originally from Myanmar, if you don't know. And Myanmar is, we struggle a lot with current legal reform, and because we just get out of dictatorship rules and stuff. So, and last 5 years ago, it was totally a dream for a woman to be in the government because it was a military government. But now things started to change, and hopefully the change will be more positive to going forward. So I want to be legal researchers and working as a research think tank for rule of law reform in back home eventually, and policies and legislation issues internationally, not only in Myanmar, specifically Southeast Asia, which is a big jigsaw puzzle in human rights, because we have a lot of issues still struggling. So yeah, after I'm gonna work for a few years before I decide about the grad school, and go back to school. And after that, hopefully I can serve the people who are underprivileged, women and children in back home.
That's amazing. All three of